Hi and welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking the front wheel out of my Moto Guzzi Le Mans 1000 to have the tyre changed. Now I could be using my bike stand for this, but I've discovered that it's a bit inconvenient getting the front wheel out on that particular stand. Fortunately the Le Mans has a centre stand, so it's a lot easier to jack up the front of the bike to get the wheel out. So the first thing we need to do is put a jack under the engine so that we can lift the front of the bike. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is remove the two calipers. Now we'll just loosen the axle nut. And now just loosen off the two pinch bolts. And now the axle should just slide out. Well, I've had the new front tyre fitted, and this time I've gone with an Avon Road Rider. The previous tyre on here was a Bridgestone, and whilst it was a competent front tyre and it certainly had no vices and I had no real complaints about it, I really thought that I could probably get something that was just a little bit better in the handling department. So on the advice of a couple of my viewers, I decided to go with the Avon. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll report back on what I think of it down the track. And before you put the axle in, it's worth cleaning it and putting a bit of grease on it. And it's also worth checking your wheel bearings as well when you've got the wheel out, just to make sure that they're running true. Now we just need to put the spacer in on the other side before the axle comes all the way through. Get that spacer on. Next, put the axle nut on. And while we can't tighten this up completely because the pinch bolts are loose, it's a good idea to tighten this up as much as you can, because it will help get the axle in the right place. So that's on. Now we'll do up the pinch bolts. Now we can finish tightening the axle. Now it's time to refit the calipers. Now there is actually a spring washer underneath each bolt, so don't forget that. Again, don't forget the washers. Finally, remove the jack. Well, that's pretty much it. Now, before you take the bike out on the road, you should reseat those front disc brake pads. Now, because these Moto Guzzis, these older ones, have a linked braking system, you'll need to pump the foot brake lever to reseat the left-hand front disc, because the foot brake lever operates the left-hand front disc as well as the rear disc, and use the handlebar lever to reseat the right-hand front disc. Oh, and also remember that a new tyre may not have the same grip until it is fully bedded in. So just take it easy for the first few kilometres until that tyre has a chance to bed in. Well, that's pretty much it for this particular video, and I'll report back on what I think of the Avon Road Rider in a future video. I'll catch you then.